But what do you want the relationship between Saudi Arabia and Israel to be? What do you want it to be like?
Saudi Arabia want Israel announce that they accepting the Arab initiative. Then we can discuss with Israel, maybe Palestinians discuss with Israel, and Saudi Arabia support that. We don't like Israel become isolated in the area. We don't like Israel become fighting the Palestinian and Palestinian fighting them, and we are fighting them. We have to cooperate together. This is my idea about that.
Ruler Jibril, he says he wants peace with Israel. He wants them to accept the Saudi peace plan of 2002, and he's worried about Iran destabilizing the region. So he's talking to Israeli people, Israeli officials. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, it's great that now the Saudis are trying to talk, except the Saudis don't understand two things. One is Iran has a role in destabilizing the region, but they have a bigger role in destabilizing the region. Look what we are seeing.
Who has a bigger role in?
Saudi Arabia. Look at their interference. They are financing terrorists and tyrant alike with one goal: to export their Wahhabi, exclusionary, puritanical sect of Islam. And everybody else has to be killed, whether they're Shia or Sunni moderates. Regarding the Palestinian issue, it's a smokescreen. The Israelis have spoken, General, and have spoken clearly. And in a democracy, and I know that you don't maybe understand how democracy works, it's very clear. When people vote for a government and decided for the Netanyahu government, and the Israelis voted for that government doesn't want any peace initiative, not the American one, let alone the Saudi one.
Let General Eshki respond.
We in Saudi Arabia did not support the radicals. We are against the radicals.
General Ashki, you have to explain to the people why ISIS in their capital Raqqa have Saudi textbooks, because you have more in common with ISIS than any other group in the area.
Ruler, let me ask you a question. A recent poll showed that 52% of Saudis say they see Iran as the biggest threat to Saudi Arabia, and only 18% say they see Israel as a threat. What would you say to those who say that General Eshki, when he reaches out to Israel against Iran, he's simply reflecting Saudi public opinion? He's doing what his people want.
But this is what Saudi have been trying to do since the beginning of their establishment, that their form of Islam is the only legitimate path to God. And the polls are reflecting that kind of ideology and that kind of mentality. It's not far away from what ISIS is doing.
Okay, let me bring the subject back to what we were discussing. Saudi Arabia has constantly said it's a champion of the Palestinians over the years. How do you think Palestinians feel when they hear you refer to Benjamin Netanyahu as a strong leader and a logical leader, you called him?
I told about him a strong leader and logical leader because that means not strong against Arabs, but I said he is strong in his country. He can announce about that, because the fanatics in Israel, the radical in Israel, when they accept the initiative, all the Israeli will accept that.
Let's let the smoke screen aside. You are actually dialoguing with a right-wing government who's oppressing Palestinian peoples, negating them any kind of rights, that is actually very vocal about annexing the whole land. General, what you are doing is actually selling out the Arab cause, the Palestinian cause, in the name of one thing: Wahhabism and anti-Shiite sentiment.